we are going to answer probably the biggest question you have when starting your fitness journey or your next phase to achieve your goal. This is going to be relevant to you whether you're going to start a fat loss phase and want to get shredded, whether you're starting a gaining phase and want to build tissue, or whether you're in that in-between phase and you're in that skinny fat place. Now, I've not done this yet. This will be the first time, but I've got a very, very, very special gift/offer for you because of the love I've been receiving inside the YouTube comments as of late. Really, really positive feedback that I've been receiving, like on a constant basis. And I thought, you know what? People have taken the time to comment. Someone give me some looks maxing about my haircut. I don't think it's too bad. But anyway, people have taken the time to comment on these videos, and I massively appreciate it. So I've got something very, very exciting that's relevant to this video, which you're going to be like, fuck me, I can't believe he's doing this. And let me tell you, if this video goes viral, well, I'll be working like an absolute dog, but I'm a man of my word and I'll stand by that. So I'll come on to that at the end of the video. You're going to know what it is as I go through the video, so look forward to that. But the reason I make this video is I could not think of anything more painful than trying to get to a goal but not know where I'm starting from. Because how the fuck are you ever going to make any tangible progress if you don't know where you're starting from? Like, if you don't know where you're starting from, how do you know, like, how long it's going to be till you get to the goal? What's progress going to look like? When to make changes? Am I on the right food? Am I on too little food so I lose tissue? Am I on not enough food? Am I on too much food so I just don't really make that much progress that fast? And then what will happen is you'll get discouraged. Of course you will. You'll try it for a few weeks, and if this is slightly new anyway, and it's like a little bit like, you know what it's like when you start something new, it's like, the resistance is very high to do so. So if the resistance is high and you've got the knowledge piece wrong, you're not going to get to where you need to. You're not going to see that feedback come quite quick, which most people, when you start something new, they are looking for that. So you're gonna feel like quite hopeless through it. And then you're going to see other people making progress. That's going to make you more jealous. You're probably going to feel insecure about how you're looking because, let's be honest, it's a visual game, and that's why we do this in the first place. And when you can't fix that problem, or the problem won't go away, what are you going to blame? Genetics. I just can't do this. You can. Trust me, you can. Whatever your body composition is right now, whatever goal you get, the knowledge I have in here could get you to that goal. Fact. And that's the only thing stopping you from getting there. It's just having the knowledge to be like, right, I'm this, I need to get to here. To do so is this formula, and out it spits out the result. It's literally just science, biology, and you'll be able to get to the point. So the goal of this video is to work out and assess your starting point. That is the main goal, because everyone's starting point will be slightly different. Some of you will be above 12% body fat, and it makes sense to do maybe a recomp, or if you're above 20% body fat, it makes sense to do a full-blown fat loss. Some of you will be in that like 12 to 17, 18% body fat range, and it makes sense to do what I call the like skinnier fat approach, and that is like an even more like slight bit of art and science in itself. You'll have seen some of the results I get on Instagram or on this page, and a lot of them were done with this method in mind, because you're in that strange space. It's like, I'm so skinny I need to put tissue on, but I'm fat and I'm not sure if a bulk is the right idea, so I'll show you what that would look and feel like. And then obviously some of you will be in that range where you're 10% or below and it's ready to drop the hammer and go into that gaining phase. So that's going to be the main goal, so you can understand, where am I now, where do I need to get to, how long is that going to take, and what changes am I going to need to make along the way. So to do so, we're going to get out the fancy calorie calculator. So in this video, I'm going to do 3 examples. Someone that's quite fat, someone that's skinny fat, and someone that's lean. Start off with the fat guy, or the fatter guy, should I say. This guy, by the way, fucking athlete. You'll probably recognize this guy from the transformation we did. 16 weeks, 20 kg dropped. So we started him off. He is, to be honest, closer, or he's in between 25 and 30. I like to be conservative, and you should too. You could marry them up and say pretty much 25%. Go 27. I think he's a little bit, only because I've known the process as well. I know he's softer than 25. So we're going to go 27% body fat. And what you need to be able to do is assess your physique to what we've got on here and objectively look at it, maybe get someone else to look at it. It's always better to slightly be conservative than it is to go on the leaner side, because you go on the leaner side, that will mean you can have a slightly more food, which means progress will slow down a little bit less, because your ratio of what the body fat is to your scale weight means the lean tissue would be actually higher. So it's in some ways slightly better to go a little bit under. So we know he's 27% body fat. Okay, so at this point, we then want to punch in his body fat and his scale weight. So we know he's 27%, and this guy started at 106. What this is then going to do is give you your lean muscle mass, and this is a very important factor, and it's going to be relevant to when you set your protein target. Now, it's going to give you your resting metabolic rate. For anyone who doesn't know, this is how many calories you need for normal daily function. This is before you do anything else. But of course, you're not going to sit down in a chair all day and not move. So we need to understand how active are you within a given day. This is relevant to whichever phase you're in, so do digest this. So you want to look at it and think, okay, where do I sit along this? Most people are moderately active and they'll exercise 3 to 5 days a week and just live like an average job life. It's fairly active. It's not too active that you're up and down all day, but it's a little bit more than desk bound. People that are really sedentary, sit on their arse all day, do no exercise whatsoever. Think of like at any desk bound job, times it by 1.2. Someone that's lightly active, so a little bit more between, halfway in between the two, you got 135, and then going to 175, that's like your boys in the military, that's your construction workers, people that are on their feet all day. Okay, so then what you're going to do from there is work out, that one should be 195, I'm not sure why that's been changed, but anyway. Most people are probably going to sit around 155 and be conservative with how active you are in a given day. Always be conservative with both those figures, and that is the key art to this. So this guy's maintenance is 3,164. Now, this is where we need to listen, and this is going to be important, so listen to this bit. Okay, when someone is on the fatter side, 20% or above, and you're in a fat loss phase, you can go a little bit more aggressive with the deficit. Now, you could, if you had the time, you could start him here at pretty much 2.6, but I wouldn't do that. I feel like progress would be quite slow. So what we've got here is we can work out, do we want to drop 1% of the scale per week? Roughly, yes, but this is quite a drastic drop. So you want to go somewhere in between, at around about this figure here. So 2,350 calories pretty much. That is going to be the sweet spot for anybody that is like over 20%. Because when you're over 20%, you've got a lot of fat stores that need to come off. So the deficit can be quite drastic. If people go all the way up to 30, then fuck me. You can take your calories. If you're about 30% body fat or above, you can take your calories to near on as low as RMR, and you'll be okay. You'll be fine with that. Remember, we just never go below this number as like a hard rule. So you set the calories relative to this. And the beauty of setting them to this is you've still got some room to play with. And you always want to keep that in your top left. You want to have some room that you can pull the calories a little bit lower. Because where you're going to diet over a long period of time, you're going to need to make changes to the nutrition plan in order to see that drop come in. So what this will then do is we'll spit out your macros. And now this is important because you want to make sure especially in a dieting phase, you want to adhere to the macros, not just the calories. First thing you want to establish is your protein target. This is always going to be fairly high. Specifically, this is going to be 2.4 times the lean mass, which was the number above. Now, it's important that protein's high because protein is one of the most satiating macronutrients, which as you're in a dieting phase, it's going to keep you fuller for longer. And of course, we know we want to retain and also build, if possible, as much tissue onto the frame as possible, not rip everything off. So you're going to want to keep that target and make sure you adhere to it absolutely all the way through. Fats, you're going to set to 20% of the overall daily target. Now, this can pretty much stay the same no matter what phase you're in. And as you get deeper and deeper, you can slightly play with the fats and that will be okay. And the rest of your fuel is going to go towards carbs, okay? Because carbs will drive performance in the gym. Building and retaining tissue is done firstly through resistance training, then protein. Always think about that. So in some cases, when you get deeper into the diet phase, it makes sense to actually keep carbs high, so performance and training output is higher. So what sort of a loss, or in fact, let's go quickly into foods. So you've got your calorie target. Okay, brilliant. Right, these are the food options you would eat relative to 40 grams. Keep it nice and lean to save on the calories. These are the carb options you have, standard stuff. And then these are the fat options. This is what you be eating. You piece your diet together relative to what you like, but also don't make your diet so palatable. If your diet is really palatable, which means it tastes really fucking good, it's going to be hard to stay underneath the target. That's why when you go and eat out, all food is made really nice and tasty, and it's hard to stay no to certain amounts. So don't make your diet so palatable. It will actually hurt you in the long run. Now, we're looking to drop 1% of scale weight per week. When you are anything above 20% body fat, you can probably expect a kilo a week to come off because you're literally just carrying adipose tissue. That shit melts away. If you're on the right plan, that shit will melt. So you're looking to drop a kilo a week, especially if you're around the 100 kilo mark. 1% a week, 1 kilo, no problem. Even though all the way down to like 75, you can expect to drop a kilo a week, and then it'll start to slow down. If you see that the scale weight has not moved over the course of a week, that is the body telling you it is time to pull a lever. Now, you've got two options: either increase through output or decrease from food. In the very initial week, I would decrease from food because you're understanding the body. But after you've decreased from food and you start to see a drop, the next lever you're going to pull is cardio. And then you're going to continue to pull that lever until you get from 20 minutes daily to then 30 minutes daily to 40 minutes daily. Then I've been looking, okay, well, how busy are you? Are you so busy that to go more, it will be doable at some point, but if we've still got a long 8 weeks left on the diet, do you want to be doing it just yet? No. Okay, well, it makes sense to pull a little bit from food. And you continue to do so until you get down to the point. Now, if you're really big, like much bigger than what I was explaining here, and you've got 30 kilos to lose, I would run a diet for 20 weeks. Because you can diet for 20 weeks, no problem. It won't be that nice, but you can definitely do it. The body will still respond. After 20 weeks, I'd run a bit of a break. 4 weeks, let the body rest, let the mind rest, and then I would drop the hammer and go again for another like 8 to 10 week block. So that is what I would do if I were you and I was 20% or above, 25% or above. Let's go on to the next case study, which is probably going to be most relevant to most of you here. Okay, you may recognize this guy as well. Everyone I'm showing you, I've done a video for, so you can go back and find that picture and see how we actually map the full thing out in a bit more detail if you need to. This is where probably a lot of you are going to sit. Not too fat at all, no sign of visible abs. So what do we do in this phase? Also could do with some more tissue. This is where the real art and the science comes into shit, where if you didn't watch this video and you wouldn't know, and I wouldn't have known this a year or two ago, I wouldn't have known what to do with this guy, but now I do. He is sat, he's not quite as tight as this guy, because remember, look at the lines we can see here and here. Can't see that on him yet. For sure though, he's not as soft as this guy here. Look at the subcutaneous fat underneath here versus he's not got that. So we can anticipate he is relatively somewhere in between, but maybe even closer towards the guy at 15. So I would say he was 17% body fat. Okay, so if he's 17% body fat, and his scale weight, by the way, let me just plug this number in, 17, and his scale weight was 78 kilograms. He's got a lean tissue mass of 64.7, resting metabolic rate of 1,784. And again, he was about average, like worked behind a desk, but was really active outside of that. His maintenance is 2,741. Now, for someone like this is where the art comes into it. You don't want to put them in a drastic deficit, do you? Because, again, we need to be able to build some tissue. But he's not lean enough to go into a surplus. So what do you do now? I love these transformations. We've got a few more coming over the next few weeks, which I'll do videos more on, and you'll see them on my Instagram page. These ones are the best, in my opinion, because they're the most relatable to most people. They take the most brain power from me as a coach, and you get the best before and afters, in my opinion, of these people. Let me just show you quickly. So this guy, probably a week or two left, but when you apply this is what you get. You can blow them up and also get them leaner. This was his end result 8 weeks later. And again, they're not that long to turn around. 12 weeks, similar approach. 9 weeks, similar approach. So let's go back into it. The approach that you take with this is you sit them in a slight, and I'm saying a very slight deficit. So what that would look like is a 0.25. This is his maintenance. This is the deficit. Fucking, it's like 100 and something calories, if that. Now, why is it like this, you will ask? We want to keep food as high as possible. Why? Because we want to improve our training stimulus for as long as physically possible. Higher food, higher performance in the gym because of energy levels. Higher performance in the gym because of energy levels. Building and retaining tissue. A lot of these people trained okay-ish, but when I got hold of them with my training methods, they were able to blow up because it was almost like they were getting newbie gains again, and that's what you will get. So you're then going to sit them at a very slight deficit, and you're going to run this for a good 6, maybe even 8 weeks on this amount of food. When you want to start slowly pulling back the body fat, and that is what it does, you gradually, very gradually pull it off. You increase through output, not food, and you continue to do so until you finally pull them from that 17 down to the 8% body fat mark. Now, of course, you look bigger when you are leaner. Let me tell you that right now for free. So when you look at these guys and think, fucking hell, they look massive, they have built some tissue because of what I just said about the newbie gains, but actually they are leaner, so they will look bigger. Just rest assured on that one. Now, another good reason for doing this is when you get down to those stages that you can see in the photos, you're in a prime position to then go into a gaining phase. So when you're in that point, and in fact, we've wrapped everything up with those people. So let's just say with this guy here now, he got down to 70 kg, and I would say he's 9% body fat, okay? So now it then takes us into the next question. What do we do next with these guys? So 70 kg, 9% body fat. We know they need to go into a gaining phase, okay? And this is why we do the recomp first to build our house on a solid foundation. Remember what we said before? If you don't know your starting point and you are in that position and you go into a gaining phase, what is someone that's 17% body fat going to do when they start taking on more nutrients, more food? How has their body been partitioning it recently? It's storing it as fat. That's why you're 17% body fat. So if you give it more food, what's it going to do? Again, it's going to be so easy to store it as fat. So if we get you down to 8 to 10%, you're going to be lean and responsive to nutrients, specifically the way your body utilizes insulin through carbohydrates. You will be leaner, you will be more responsive to training stimulus. So you're basically just wiping the slate clean and getting your house on a solid foundation ready to start layering on the bricks. As well, if you're 8 to 10% body fat, you've got another 8 to 10% to play with all the way up until you're too fat and need to cut back down. Now, if your gaining phase is done, as I'm going to show you in a minute, correctly, you will be able to put on the most amount of tissue whilst having the biggest headway for. You're going to accumulate some body fat, but you want to minimize that as much as possible. So when we want to go into a gaining phase, we then want to flip the switch here. So we want to add 1%, okay? Now, initially, what I would actually do is you will have gone down to that dieting phase, then you will be reversed back out of it. That's where you add 200 calories every week. So because you've recomped, you're not going to go straight to this unless you're already at this point. But what I would tend to do is I would actually sit, and I would do something different to what this says here. I would go to maintenance. From maintenance, I would add 200 calories in the form of carbohydrates, 50 grams of carbs around the workout to improve training performance. You log your training performance on a week-by-week basis, and where you are still improving and making gains, you are building muscle. If you are building muscle, I would rinse and repeat that until we're not, until the scale weight is not really moving, until the numbers in the gym are not progressing, and then I would add another 200 calories, 50 grams of carbs. Carbs will drive performance in the gym, drive performance in the gym will build the tissue. That is where it's going to go to. People say just get calories in and get it in through fats. I don't really agree with that because, yeah, you're getting calories in, but like the calories are there to improve performance in the gym so you can move and lift more loads, so you can rip and build more muscle. It's not just a case of eating calories and then muscle appears on your bones. That's not really how it works. It's a tool to assist the gym floor performance. Now, as you're going up, you're aiming for like a kilo. If you achieve a kilo a month, that's pretty good going, and that's going to be a nice and steady rate where you're not going to accumulate too much body fat on. And again, always take photos. The whole process that you're doing with this cutting or gaining phase, you're going to take photos. You're going to assess the scale weight. And you're going to keep going like that until you hit that end point. So that is what I would do if I was in these three situations. Now, as promised, what was the gift I had to you that I mentioned at the start of the video for the beauty of all the comments I was getting? Well, you're going to like this. Once you've watched this video, and obviously you've heard me say this, I will give you the opportunity. Go onto my Instagram page, which will be linked below, and you can message me your scale weight and send me your photos, and I will set you up like this with a Loom video on what you need to do next, what calories and macros, and how long roughly it's going to take for you to get to the goal. So I did this for someone yesterday that mentioned in the comments that said he was on 1,800 calories when he probably shouldn't be on that little relative to his scale weight and body fat percentage. And he found it really, really useful. And that's what stemmed the idea for this. So just off the back of this video, I will do that for you because I appreciate the comments and I like the love you give me, and it's very important that I give back to people on this channel. So go ahead, do that right now. I look forward to speaking to you on IG, and if you're not already, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next video.